People are talking a lot about narcissism and avoidant or empaths, the dynamics between these folks. And it's powerful conversations people are reflecting with, you know, about avoidance, about attachment, about anxiety, about differences of these, about empaths and narcissists, so about behavioral, constitutional differences of our human expression, the way we behave, the way we feel, the way we normalize what that is, or what's safe, or what's happened in a moment. These different filters on our experience, they're fascinating. It's fascinating. So, what I hear a lot lately is people taking more seriously the impact that this has and getting prepared. And people are informing themselves, sharing useful tools because these cycles, they create abuse cycles. The cycles of relating across these differences actually lock people into cycles of intergenerational conflict and lateral violence, which is just when things internalize and go sideways, they're a distortion. And you're feeding it creative energy, so then it becomes destructive. I've been through this a lot. It's very true. And I'm glad the world's preparing more and building culture of preventative wellness around the topic because it has swallowed my life as well. And I'm appreciating what everybody's saying. And I want to share also from a place, my voice started shaking, of some things I'm coming to also about it. As somebody who's practiced in preventative health, I grew up in it too. My dad was a naturopath, and I became a registered acupuncturist and massage practitioner, medical qigong therapist, astrologer. I'm an intuitive and a reader at the same time as I've studied anatomy and physiology, and I've studied natural medicine, and it puts it all together. So I've worked now for 15 years in this field doing witness as a natural medicine health practitioner on this path. I'm also an herbalist. And that's a whole other thing. The plants taught me to see people in this incredible way too, through intuitive witnessing. Believe it or not. And yeah, I learned about health first from plants. They needed to be witnessed for interspecies communication, and I learned this sort of intuitive witnessing culture from traditional medicine as a way to learn. So then when I learned everything else and practice it, it's very much with this intuitive eye. You have to turn on the eye of your heart and your third eye, and you have to listen with your senses, but the ones that are also there with them. Just see through your eye, your heart eye. That's what I say. So, sometimes that looks like different things. People call them the clairs because we have these words clairvoyant, clairsentient, clair whatever, clairaudient, clairolfactory. That means you just have your senses take on a different dimension of memory in them, in your experience. And that remembering happens in different ways. Goosebumps, feelings, emotions, sensations, visual, whole downloads of thought forms that are like words, messages, smells. Gosh, I'm having an itchy nose right here. It's funny. It's important that we develop these bodies for our preventive wellness about attachment, about cycles of dysfunctional relationship that come from distortions and then feeding them creative energy. If you have a blocked and distorted form, which is what happens when these kinds of relationships come together, they match in this particular great way that's so hot till it's not. And then both of those things coming together have this particular way of fritzing you and the whole system that blooms out from that center. Because whatever you are letting into that most central place of intimacy in partnership is the most intimate thing in your life. It's more central. And so it's like you're letting that be in your fire. And that everything in your life is touched and affected by that. So what it's doing is mirroring our own inner family. We have the inner family. Like if you look at tarot, the Lover's card, we have inner royalty in there, in our different parts of our spirit. They're having sovereignty over different kingdoms in us. Um, yeah. And this is a queer nature, you know. We have this multiplicity to ourself and duality and multiplicity that's created from our diversity of expressions of that duality. So we have this incredible nuanced matrix, and it's like a miracle when we match with somebody else. And it's this magical thing. And it comes to life through that externalization of the coupling. And it has this dynamic inside that ripples in the inner coupling. And so there's really four there. There's two, but there's really four because there's the two and the two. And that's similar to genes. When they come together, if they were to make a baby, they'd make one group of four. Here you go. So actually, it's four and four, eight and eight. You know what's interesting? Our lineages and the way they spiral through our tarot, this matrix of reactions, you know, they're mixing with the mental, emotional, spiritual matrix doing that too, which involves our past lives and stuff. So we have magnetisms on all those levels. And the invisible ones are the strongest and the most majority, the majority of what's there. So we, you know, we have an interesting time interpreting the forms that take shape from it. That's the dream interpretation of this dream, which it is. This is a dream. It's called life, but it is a dream. And what we daydream and witness into being and remember, and you know, that's what it is. So this body is the form of wherever my like karma and life path and history has brought this up to this point. And then it's interacting with the forms of other people that I have that kind of matrix of memory with too, and magnetism. So we are fascinating. I find that people are arming themselves like with this, like, oh my gosh, like I have been duped. I've been, you know, and it is good to get your hairy eyeball on and your hag eye at the well and really look at the truth, because yes, we're in a living myth. And yes, you're going to be challenged, tested. It's going to be there for your lesson, your karma, for your, you know, healing. So try not to be too scared or mad about what it took for that, right? The confusing journey. I think that's important when we're digesting all this critical information to get empowered and not too soured about it. You know, shame and blame serve us nothing but more of it. So it's more about like making, I want to offer in the conversation that like study myth, study traditional medicine, study your intuitive arts. Realize this honed them for you. Celebrate how this made you strong, what it gave you. Look at your life like a living myth and look at all the myths of ancestry, because there are medicine. So which ones were I? Which one was I? Which ones initiated me? What did I live? Because that's deep, you know? And our depth is our treasure as much as we can know it. So grow wealthy and free with your knowing. Grow gardens there. And definitely compost your despair, because that's the black hole shooting rainbows everywhere. And that's what this is made of. So welcome, Homo. This is, you know, the holy vessel of the rainbow spine oracle world tree catching it. Cosmic radio. And boy, bet your bottom dollar it is a miracle. So even if it brought you to devastating love, just celebrate it, right? What kind of love? Which myth was it? What did that give you? What flower grew from that soil? Because that's your treasure. It's not wham wham, poor me, I hate this sucks, life is unsafe, I'll never trust again. Which way are you gonna choose, eh? With meaning, digestion, transmutation, we have our life. It's a good art if you make it. Bless the bees. Be well. Bless the bees. Peace out.